Hello, my dear students. We have an introduction to English literature course. Today we deal with 19th century novelists. Though Jane Austen wrote her books in the troubled years, which included the French Revolution, her novels are calm pictures of society life. She understood the importance of family in human affairs, and though two of her brothers were in the Navy, she paid little attention to the violence of the nations. The title given to her first novel was uh, Eleanor and Marianne, 1795, but this was later rewritten and published as Sense and Sensibility, 1811. In 1796, she started First Impressions, which was later published as Pride and Prejudice, 1813. Mansfield Park appeared in 1814, and Emma in 1816. Northanger Abbey, 1818, was begun as a satire on Mrs. Radcliffe's Mysteries of Udolpho, and to show that real life is very different. Yes, Persuasion, 1818, was published in the same year. It is her last novel, and there is a belief that her own love affairs are reflected in those of Anne Elliot. Jane Austen brought the novel of family life to its highest point of perfection. Her works were untouched by the ugliness of the outside world. She kept the action to scenes familiar to her through her own experience. Her first novels were refused by publishers, and she had to wait 15 or 20 years after beginning to write before any novel was accepted. Mary Shelley, the poet's wife, is remembered now chiefly as writer of famous novel of terror, Frankenstein, 1818. It was published in the year that saw Northanger Abbey, a satire on this sort of novel. Frankenstein was begun as a ghost story, but Mrs. Shelley finally made her character the Genevan student Frankenstein collect bones, build a human being, and give it life. Everyone hates it for its ugliness, and is lonely and fierce. It murders Frankenstein's brother and his wife. Frankenstein follows it to the far north and is himself killed by it. The creature then disappeared. Twice Dickens wrote historical novels, Barnaby Rudge, 1841, and A Tale of Two Cities, 1849, a story of the French Revolution and events in London at the same time. Sometimes his novels were written partly with the purpose of improving social conditions. Oliver Twist, the story of a poor boy's cruel treatment. We must now turn to Yorkshire, where a girl, Charlotte Bronte, was brought up in poor surroundings. As a result of stay in Brussels, she wrote The Professor, written in 1846 and published in 1857, which describes events in the life of a schoolmaster in that city. Villette, 1853, uses the same material. It reflects the personal experiences of the writer. when she was in Brussels. Without beauty or money, the heroine becomes a teacher and wins respect by her fine character. Her first novel, Jane Eyre, 1847, is also describes the life of a poor and unbeautiful girl who is brought up by a cruel aunt and sent to miserable school. After that, she goes to teach the daughter of Mr. Rochester at Thornfield Hall. Although she is not beautiful, Rochester falls in love with her, but when she discovers that his mad wife is still alive, she runs away. Later on, the hall is burned down and the mad wife is killed. In trying to save her, Rochester um, is blinded and loses all hope of happiness. On hearing of all this, Jane marries him and so is able to bring comfort into the remaining part of his life. Charles' sister, Emily Bronte, wrote one of the greatest of English novels, Wuthering Heights, 1846-7. The passionate Heathfield falls in love with Catherine Earnshaw, but he hears her say that she could never marry such a low sort of creature, and so he leaves the house. 3 years later, when he returns, he finds that Catherine has married Edgar Linton, a man of weak character. Heathcliff then begins a life of cruelty and revenge. Catherine dies, and Heathcliff marries Edgar's sister and treats her very badly. In the novels of Thomas Hardy, nature plays an important part. Indeed, nature is herself a character. Hardy's scenes are set in Wessex, the county of Dorset, among trees, farms, fields, and low hills. Hardy believes that the past has built up a mass of conditions which remain to influence people's lives, and he also thought that blind chance has a very important effect. The best way of life is therefore to accept calmly the blows of fate. His novels spread over the years 1870, 1896 are mostly pictures of human misery, of human beings struggling against fate or chance. Far from Madding Crowd, 1874, is the story of a patient love on one side and selfish passion on the other. In The Mayor of Casterbridge, 1886, Michael Henchard, while he is drunk, sells his wife and children for a few pounds. Tess of the D'Urberville, 1891, is a tale of a poor girl, Tess de D'Urberville, whose misfortunes are so great that in the end she murders a man and is hanged. Hardy's last novel, Jude the Obscure, 1896, is extremely miserable, and it may be true that he turned to poetry to escape from such terrible products of his imagination. All right, that's the end of this lesson, my dear teachers, my dear students. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much.